Hi, and welcome back to Ask a Pennsylvania Dutchman. My name is Chris LaRose. This here is Doug Maidenford, our resident Pennsylvania Dutchman. How are you, Doug?
I'm doing great, and I'm going to start this time. Now, we don't necessarily endorse products. Although in the past we have had some shout-outs for Diefenbach potato chips, the best potato chips, and Wayhar Farms ice cream,
the best
ice cream. But we tend not to do that because nobody's sending us money to do it. But this time, well, there was no money involved in this one either. But we have a great story to share with you that'll also lead into a question. Some of you know that besides these videos, I also have a series on YouTube called Your Pennsylvania Dutch Minute, which are these quick little videos about learning the language of Pennsylvania Dutch. Then you can grab it, watch it, go, and hopefully then start learning the language. A couple of weeks ago, I got an email from a guy named Brad, who all he said was, "Doug, thanks so much for the videos. I really appreciate it. Keep up the great work." Well, that really made me feel good. But I noticed when I was reading the email, at the bottom was his signature, Brad. And then underneath it said, War Shore Oyster Company. Well, now, I love oysters. And I thought, you know what, I want to send a message back to Brad. So I wrote him back. I said, "Brad, thanks for the kind words and all." And then jokingly I said, "If you really want to thank me, I'd love to taste some of your oysters." Son of a gun, a couple days later, he emails me back. He says, "Watch on." That's all he said. I was like, okay.
The anticipation.
2 nights ago, I get home from work and there's a box on the front porch. A box on the front porch. And I hadn't ordered anything from the internet, and I don't think my wife had either. What the heck's this about? So I open it up. Son of a gun, there was a styrofoam case. I opened that up. 2 dozen raw oysters in the shells, and a nice letter from Brad saying, "I told you I'd do it. Enjoy the oysters. Keep the videos coming." So.
No, I like oysters too. I didn't get any. You didn't even save any for me. That's un-Dutchman of you.
I tried calling, you didn't answer. Anyway, so in this.
Sure you did. Went with the phone first.
I called Chris. Inside this box were 2 dozen raw oysters, and he sent some stickers and a nice letter and all this. So we have to officially endorse the official oyster company of the Ask a Pennsylvania Dutchman series is the War Shore Oyster Company based out of Virginia. So I got this and I thought, this is wonderful. I posted some pictures online and I wrote Brad right away. I said, "Brad, I'm humbled by this gift. I wasn't expecting it. I was just joking, but trust me, I'll enjoy it." And I said, "Brad, we'd love to have you on Ask a Pennsylvania Dutchman, and you can talk a little bit about the oyster company, and we'd love to pick your brain a little bit." And he wrote this email back. So what's he say? Just this part right here.
That part right there.
He didn't want to be in the video, which he's a humble guy.
Yeah,
Must be. Pennsylvania Dutchman, probably.
Yeah, well,
what's he say?
Says, so I guess my question for the show would be, outside of Doug Maidenford's love for raw oysters, how does the rest of PA Dutch culture in general view things from the sea? Well, I don't know. My family always really loved oysters. They used to have oysters and clam bakes every summer and invite the whole town.
Yeah, I think a lot of people outside of Pennsylvania Dutch country don't really understand this, and it is kind of, I don't know where this comes from, honestly, but growing up where I did too in my family, Pennsylvania Dutch country doesn't touch the ocean. You gotta drive to go to the ocean. You gotta go to New Jersey, or Delaware, or Maryland, or down into Virginia. But for whatever reason, and I don't know the historical context of this, but this is true.
They all love seafood.
Oysters and clams oysters particularly are seen almost as a delicacy among the older Pennsylvania Dutch. We didn't have oysters often, but when we did, that was a
had a lot of them.
It was
It
was a pretty big deal. And yeah, like Chris said, my family in the summer we would often have clam bakes. Either we'd go down to the shore to get clams, or there were Dutchmen that would drive down to the shore, bring truckloads of clams back, and then you'd go and pick up the clams from them on a Friday or whatever. And then Saturday or Sunday you had a clam bake in the summer. Same way with oysters. And there are a lot of churches and organizations down in Pennsylvania Dutch country that'll have fried oyster suppers. I know in particular there's a Masonic lodge in Kutztown. Twice a year they have a fried oyster supper. And it draws people like crazy. Ham and oysters. Not together. A baked ham and fried oysters as the 2 main entrees. And it really is, it's a special treat for the Dutch to have oysters. Again, the Amish eat them as well. You know, the Amish are big oyster eaters. But again, it's not often, maybe once, twice, 3 times a year. So when these oysters came, I was like,
it brought you back to your childhood.
It brought tears to my eyes. They were so beautiful. So Brad, your product is absolutely wonderful. I have to say that. And yes, the Pennsylvania Dutch, we're not known as, you know, big seafood eaters, but we do eat seafood, clams and oysters, especially. And you know, I don't know where that comes from, but we do it. And if you see a restaurant that has fried oysters on the menu down home, it's not always going to be on the menu. So when it is, it's a special treat. You better damn well get yourself a platter. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So we have to officially endorse the War Shore Oyster Company out of Virginia. What's the address? Oh, it's not on there. Somewhere in Virginia. He gets his oysters from the Chincoteague Island, Assateague area down there.
Oh, those are good ones.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I'll tell you. So, an official shout out to Brad, owner of War Shore Oyster Company. And for all you Dutchmen out there, you know, oysters, that brings a smile.
That's a big deal.
And you know what else? Oysters are an aphrodisiac.
Mm-hmm. That goes back to our one video about...
oh, yeah. Yeah, we had a video one time about...
how to win a girl's heart. That's with War Shore Oysters.
Yeah, War Shore Oysters would take... Boy, I'd date... If a guy came up to me offering me a night with War Shore Oysters, I'd say yes.
Well, obviously you did.
Yeah.
All right.
If I'm lucky, I'll get shucked.
Okay.
You know, because you have to shuck oysters.
Yeah,
you get that?
Yeah, gotcha.
That's a pretty good joke.
I'm glad I thought of that.
Yeah. Hey, Brad, thumbs up. If you are out there on Facebook, they have a Facebook page. Check them out. War Shore Oyster Company.
Yeah, alrighty.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it from the Dutchman, and until next time, my name is Chris LaRose. This is Doug Badenford.
Max good.
If you have a question, why you have to email us at busterpa@yahoo.com.